Though Zooey is suited for working with many kinds of data, the app includes functionality specific to working with packet capture data, also known as pcaps. These features are provided by a separate tool called pcap that's bundled with the app using Zooey's plugin system. pcap can be used as a separate tool all its own outside of Zooey, and you can learn more about it at its GitHub repository. But when working with pcaps in Zooey, pcap operates transparently behind the scenes. Zooey's pcap-specific functionality begins when you drag a pcap file into the app. Instead of pausing at the preview and load screen, as happens when dragging in other kinds of data, the load proceeds immediately because pcap sends the pcap through multiple analysis tools to generate summary logs based on the packet data in the file. By default, pcap uses both Zeek and Suricata tools for analysis. Zeek and Suricata are sophisticated open source tools, and extensive documentation can be found online describing their functionality. In brief, Zeek creates connection-level and application-level events that describe the traffic in-network flows observed in packet data, while Suricata applies logic defined in rules to detect signs of threats and other anomalies in the traffic, and surface evidence of these findings as alert events. Once Zooey submits a pcap file for analysis by these tools, the events produced are loaded into a pool of your Z lake. The events can be queried using the Z language similar to any other data loaded into Zooey. Some additional data presentation features are enabled when Zooey recognizes the events as being related to this type of network data, such as the colored tiles shown here. Different categories of Zeek events are visible based on the presence of the _path field, while Suricata alerts have the event type field with the value alert that also shows the numeric severity of the alert. When drilling down into this data by clicking on individual records, some additional views become available in the detail pane. Zeek generates a value in a unique identifier field called UID that's shared between the underlying connection record and the records that summarize the application layer transactions that occurred over that connection. By automatically joining data by this UID field, Zooey presents a correlation view that shows all the events associated with a single connection. The tiles can be clicked to jump directly to the related records in the detail pane, and the left arrow can be clicked to go back to a previously viewed event. The Zeek connection record also contains a community ID value that's joined with the community ID value of any Suricata alerts that were generated from the same connection, so the associated alerts are shown in this correlation view as well. When looking at a Zeek connection record, a ladder diagram is also shown that provides a visualization of Zeek's history field that summarizes the life cycle of the connection. Zeek file records include hashes that were calculated based on the observed file payloads. When a file record is clicked, the detail pane includes tables that use these hashes to summarize whether this same file payload has appeared more than once in the captured data, potentially under different names or transmitted from multiple hosts. Another handy pcap feature in Zooey is extracting individual flows. At the same time our pcap was being analyzed by Zeek and Suricata, an index of its contents was also being generated. Whenever we click on a particular Zeek record, Zooey uses the same correlation logic we saw earlier in the detail panel to determine the timestamp and duration of the underlying flow, such that when we click the Download Packets button, the packet index is leveraged to extract just that flow from the original pcap file. If you're familiar with how long it can take to open or filter large pcap files in Wireshark, you'll find this is a great time saver. You can find interesting network activity by using the Z language to query the summary logs, then quickly extract the granular packet level info only when you need to drill down that deeply. You'll find some of Zooey's right-click menu options are particularly useful with pcap data. Field values can be submitted directly to VirusTotal, such as the hash values of file events that may provide evidence of malware. Or traffic to IP addresses associated with known security risks. A right-click option is also available to look up an IP address using Whois. Zooey has some settings available to customize your use of its packet capture features. Hyperlinks lead to documentation with further details. Of particular note is the setting for a brimcap YAML config file. The Zeek and Suricata analyzers that are embedded with Zooey via brimcap are configured with defaults that we hope will serve common pcap use cases. However, if for some reason you need to further customize or use different release versions of these analyzers, or make use of other analyzers to generate summary logs from pcaps, the brimcap article linked from here describes how to create such a custom configuration and have Zooey make use of it when you drag pcaps into the app. If you find problems with Zooey's pcap features or have questions, please add a comment to an existing issue, open a new one, or come talk to us on the Brim Community Slack.